Welcome to another episode of the SLT Podcast. Yes, we're back in the room. We're fully loaded today, This is...
Locked in, full house.
Yeah, we should have, do you know what? We should have got the other studio, because for a man, each up in this run room, you with me? Yeah.
You big duns.
Yeah. You got some heavyweight contenders in the room. So, my apologies. Let's get a kick started. Right, so we have myself... You know me, Ziggy Moore. I've done all the stuff before, more education, all that good stuff. We also have, I'm going to go round, we've got Tariq Brown. Yes. Talk to us, Tariq.
So, Tariq Brown.
Tariq.
Secondary teacher.
Yes.
Science, PE. Also the founder of Science With Tariq as well.
Yes.
Providing private science tuition.
Yeah, right.
Love that.
Yes.
Mr. Crawford, Jordan, not Jason, VP, secondary school.
Johnoi Josephs, assistant head teacher and co-founder of Black Men Teach.
Yes. So, we mix it up a bit. Let me tell you how this started. So, I got a message. I think I posted some stuff on our SLTPodcast Instagram page. If you're not following it, I don't know what's wrong with you. But I posted it up and Tariq... Did I get it right? Tariq must have messaged me and said, "Raw, yo, let me jump on a pod." And I was like, "Yeah, come then." You with me? I think he was a bit surprised. You with me? Because I was like, "Reach." So we're lucky enough to have Tariq. We'll explain and kind of get into how we know Tariq. But it's great to have him on as well as
thank you.
As a young black male teacher. You got to remember, them man is young. They're not like us where, you know what I mean, is greying and all that.
No hair.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Do you know what's peak? I've got one grey beard coming through here. That's not fair. You one or the other. You have hair or grey. You can't have both. That's a joke thing. What we move is what it is.
Yeah. So it's really good to have mix it up a bit. You know what I mean? Normally we've got our co-host Miss Johnson.
Shout out Reek.
She couldn't make it for this pod, but she's gonna be back. So let me kick start it. I'm gonna do the generic question. I'm gonna start with Mr. Brown, so I don't get it wrong. Yeah. Why would you even get into teaching in the first place? Like as a young man, why would you get into teaching? Like why?
It's crazy. Like if I'm being honest, like I got into teaching just to support my kind of aspirations to become an MMA fighter.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So I trained in MMA. I competed in MMA, and like Muay Thai as well, kickboxing. And essentially, I needed a job that would just pay me whilst I was training. So I'd work in school in the day. I would do MMA in the evening and in the early mornings. And that was like a way of living for me. That was like kind of my aspiration. As time went on, I believe that like my colleague told me I could make more money if I was a qualified teacher. So I thought, okay, cool. Let me get this QTS. Yeah. I can make more money doing supply or whatever. As I did do kind of my QTS and I spent more time doing it, I kind of found a bit of a passion for teaching and kind of could see like how I could influence other people's lives, other black kids' lives as well. And I thought, you know what, like I think this is me, I think this is it. Obviously, I was living in Nottingham at the time, doing the MMA, like did my teacher training in Nottingham.
Oh, right.
Wasn't really feeling it, to be honest. Yeah. Like being like the only ethnic member of staff, like not black, like ethnic member of staff. So like kind of like just feeling a bit out of place. I'm applying for teacher positions. I'm not getting no.
How many? Because that's something we don't really talk about. How many positions did you apply for? Because I say that to say, because I remember there was a time period, I'd left one school. When I say left, depends on the words that you want to use.
Elaborate.
I left. Well, we said it before. Was it? You said it like black female teachers are pushed down and black male teachers are pushed out. Is that?
Yeah.
And I'd applied for about 3 or 4 different roles and I wasn't getting through. Yeah. Did that happen to you?
It's mad, bro. So mad.
Has anybody else experienced that, or are you man just lucky like golden ticket kind of thing?
Nah, but listen. On that point, sorry to digress a little bit, but I was on that same note, I was laughing when we were talking earlier about like getting battered up essentially by somebody in your PGC year.
Yeah.
And then you talking about similar things, and I sat there thinking, yo, that actually never happened to me, you know. And I was laughing in my head in my PGC year how I was sticking it on the teachers in there.
That's the story of your life, though, isn't it?
You know what?
It just shows that everyone's different,
That's
isn't it?
why I
Like,
was laughing
everyone's
because I was
stories.
thinking I'm always just on smoke with, man. So I remember they asked me to make, it was a newsletter or some type of promo video, some type of promo for the department, the IT department, and I did it, spent time doing it. And this one brother had it wasn't a brother, this one guy had an issue with the text on it.
Well, it weren't Comic Sans.
Something stupid. Do you know what? It was so asinine. I think it was something like one of the titles. It was the first letter of the first word was a capital letter, and then the second word was a noun. So I also put that as a capital letter, and then the rest of the words were just lowercase. My man was like, it's either all lowercase or every single word has to have capital letters at the start.
Specific.
I'm like, I ain't doing that. He was like, nah, probably tried to persuade me doing it. And then I basically said to him, I ain't doing that. So he went to get my mentor, like, separately to be like, oh, can you have a word with Jordan? Just like encourage him to change the text. It would have been light work to change the text, but just on principle, I ain't doing that. That's a violation to me. So my mentor came in being like, oh, such and such and such. I was like, no, that's stupid. I'm not doing it. And then I remember the next strategy they used was when we were all in the staff room and they were just talking about how it could be better if we changed it. And I just switched on everyone in the staff room. I said, listen, here's the file. If you might want to change it, you can change it. I ain't changing it. Give me something more impactful to do. Yeah. And then
You was a PGC student.
Why am I turning to you were a PGC.
Word, just
Wow.
yeah, just on principle. On principle, you can't.
I remember someone saying that, like, the only reason you can get away with that kind of stuff, is because you're Northern. Like,
different.
I think there's we've had professional colleagues because like this isn't new. This is like, oh my god, every time. Like, he loves bringing the smoke, yeah?
I've chilled out a little bit.
He's chilled out a little bit now, yeah? But that's been and I respect him for it. But yeah, I don't know if it's because of the Northern thing or...
Yeah. I do feel people receive it differently as not a Londoner. I don't know. That's all I've known. I don't know.
So, Mr. Joseph, If you had the golden ticket, or have you had like a few knockbacks? You look like a golden ticket kind of guy. That's why you're sitting on the You know what I mean? What do you mean? No, this is
On the golden sofa.
Mr. Brown, I think we're on a bad team, yeah? We're on a sufferation team. That man has got the golden ticket.
I think it's been, I'll say it's been a bit easy. Like, I've always been like, give me an interview.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mine. And the reason being is the fact that I've always been quite confident about what I can bring. And there's a whole study when it comes to actually the interview process, because especially group activities, there's always going to be that one person that, you know, like, okay, cool, like, they're going to be a bit reserved, or one person's going to try and take the center stage or be the main character.
Yeah.
Like, one kid actually said to me, like, why are you making yourself the main character? I don't know, it was a traumatic time. That's school, bro. But I think the role that I kind of take is that I generally just bring people along.
Yeah.
And I think that's always going to kind of stand out when it comes to interview process. But so far, it's been quite easy. Yes, I've had a couple of schools, literally just two, who haven't responded back.
Okay.
But I don't spend a lot of time like applying for a lot of jobs. I just choose one or two and then just go with it. And something always comes up.
To be fair, for me, that was in the Midlands.
Okay.
When I came to London,
Different
Yeah.
I applied for like 3 different schools, had 3 interviews in the
Yeah.
space of like 2 days.
Okay.
I got all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Well, you-
Get me,
confidence.
get me. Still no space on this
No,
couch.
no. That's your ticket.
That's interesting, and that might maybe speak to something we were speaking about in another pod, Johnoi, about different branches. Was it chapters?
Yeah.
Different people are going through different and having different experiences. Because I know your science, computer science. What's your
I'm RE in citizenship.
Okay, so it's the humanities. I know as an English teacher, I'm like gold dust, innit? So a black male English teacher. And I know early in my career it was like, and another thing I realised as well. Did everybody go the PGC route?
Yeah, I did.
I did,
Yeah, that is now in teaching. That's almost like an elite status.
Yeah.
As opposed to teach first, schools direct.
As opposed to
Schools direct, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's almost like, I was going to say like the BTEC, but it's not even like that at all, actually. It's not even like that at all. It's not like that at all. It's not like that. But I think so one of the things, especially when like, those who are looking to become teachers and they reach out to me and they're always asking, okay, what route would you recommend? And I was just like, look, it just depends upon, what you like. As a person, I need to understand the mechanics of things first before I go and assume that role. So I need to understand the pedagogy of teaching and then go into a classroom where I know that there's some routes where you're thrown into it.
Yeah.
And, some people can, they swim, they don't sink. But then there's certain routes where they almost clone you to the way that they want you to teach. But then unless you're going to stay in that school until you die, you're going to suffer when you go to somewhere else.
I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to mention it, but there is a teaching, there is an academy with many, many chains. They have many in South London, and they do a lot of teacher training. I'm not going to mention the amazing academy, but they almost mold you to, and it's good and bad, because you can tell the teachers who have come out of that specific, they've done their 2-year training, and they are molded to how that school wants them to be. But to get them to step outside of that mindset is a bit of a, you know the one I'm talking about, innit?
You should just bait them out.
It's an amazing federation in South London with many, many different. It's Harris, man. What's wrong? Like,
Yo, I knew.
what's wrong with you? Harris Federation. Oh, you better know. And then I'm the one who flipping gets the letter like, hello, Mr. Morg. Harris writes, it's a problem. You get me? Yeah, no. I never realised that the PGCE is actually a premium. If you've done the PGCE, because now when we're looking at people who are coming through and you're employing people, and to some extent, Harris is a good thing to have in your CV, because it means that you've been through certain processes.
Yeah.
But the PGCE is...
And the issue with that now is there's no funding. When I went into it, they were giving bursaries depending on your qualification and your subject of teaching.
Maths, STEM subjects.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas RE or citizenship.
For nothing now. You don't get bursary for
No,
any
you're getting
subject
teachers who are coming out with debt.
Boy,
It's crazy.
nah, listen.
Because I got student loan for mine.
I did,
So-
yeah. Do you know how much of a violation student loan is? Have you ever logged into your student loan account?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
And I logged into it recently. And it's getting down, obviously, because I've been in teaching for so long. But I remember when I
How much
first...
did you pay for uni?
3 bags.
You big he set you up for that. Did you see that one coming?
Massive.
He set you up for that one.
So of course yours is coming down, bro.
Nah, but
You're
listen, I
chilling.
Yeah.
remember the first time I logged into it, and it was more than what I'd actually received. And I was like, nah, these men are mocking it. That whole model is joke. So
And I think that
it's
is...
9 bag ticket.
Let me not even mention how much I'm...
95.
Yeah, you have to
How much
know
is
it.
How much you
I can't
One.
remember because it was so long ago.
That old
Nah,
chestnut.
there was times it was like per term, like 1,200 and something pound, 1,250. 1,250, the good old days, man.
Okay. Good old days. blood.
Good old days. Whereas, and that's a massive impediment for, especially if you are, let's use me as an example. I would have never thought about the debt. But the idea, if I knew I had to get a loan
Yeah.
to go and teach,
Yeah.
why would I do that?
Yeah.
I got a $9,000 bursary, so I remember over the 9 months of my PGCE, £1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And to me, and I was working part time as well, so to me that covered.
Yeah.
I was able to teach, but yeah, it's probably less so now.
And on that, I think we've had these conversations about whether or not it should be a non-negotiable to have a qualification and how that impacts your
What do you mean?
Outcomes. Like working with young kids in school, particularly young black kids, particularly kids from disadvantaged backgrounds, their endorsement of education has shifted.
Yes.
Over the years, I would say kids are more like, you always had that I want to be a footballer type of thing. Now they're all like, I don't know what I want to do, but why am I going to go to uni? And part of that is to do with the finances behind it, but I also think part of it's to do with like, you could have a degree and still not have a job. So why am I going to go through the whole process? You get me?
Yeah.
Have you ever had those conversations with kids about like why did you go into teaching? And them asking you like, is it worth it? Have you had those conversations?
All the time. It's. I think one of the things now, another layer is, why this school? Like, why are you working here? Like this school of all schools. And it's like
they feel that they're testing you. They're testing how in you are. I feel that when they ask where I live and they're surprised that I live in the area, it's almost like, wow, okay. Like in our first school, and I'd see the kids in Tesco's on the weekends and that. There's almost like a stamp of like, oh, okay, he's 30, because he's in with us.
Because your school.
No, I was thinking about one story. I was teaching GCSE science, so I was teaching like covalent bonds, ionic bonds, something like that. There was one kid who was just like, he just kept looking out the window. And I told him, I was like, look, like you've got your GCSEs coming up, like you need to pay attention. And he's like, sir, like, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I don't care about my GCSEs. And like, he pointed outside to a guy cutting the grass. He said, you see that guy cutting the grass?
That's me.
I bet he earns more than you. I bet he earns more than you. I want to be like him. I don't want to be learning about covalent bonds. What can I say to that?
Yeah, it's true.
I said,
it's true.
you apply the behaviour policy.
yeah.
That's a
For real.
One negative. Talk again.
Literally.
Talk again.
Because there your ego is.
Have you ever caught yourself just losing it with a kid and having to like regulate yourself a little bit?
Never, because I'm always 110% professional.
Oh, I was about to say it. You're good, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're very good.
Oh, mate. Do you know, it's. I was hoping it would get better as I got older, yeah. But my reputation, like, precedes. The best thing is when I will say to an older you, say like a year H running out their mouth, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've lost it like 2 years ago. And
The little ones are like, no.
so the older ones now know, like, nah, like you don't want to see when, and I'll just say to an older, like, yo, do me a favor, just talk to Jordan and just let him know what time it is. He's obviously confused and he doesn't know who I am. So I'm going to ask you, because he looks up to him, innit? So I'm just going to ask you to talk to him because this is my first class with him and he's a bit confused. So have a word with him and then you hear him say to him, like, nah, like Mr. Moore's cool and that, but don't ever violate because 1, 2, 3 will happen. So yes. What's the one that sticks out to you?
I say prior to being an SLT, I was fiery.
Yeah.
I was, especially like South London school, Croydon. You know, I was there for 4 years. I got to the point where I'm not the person, and people knew about me as well, and just said, you know, they did the work for me. Yeah. You know, and so I always say, especially I front load behavior. So at the start of the year, I say, this is it. I got my 3 rules. There's no violation of those rules. And then it's kids who maintain that culture. Yeah. Like, if you're new to my class, the kids will tell you, this is how we do it. And I genuinely think that's the best way because, like, you learn from your peers, right? So I remember a couple of students, you know, one girl particularly, it's always girls, right? She would say to me, she must have saw at me, put her middle finger up and just did the madness. I said, why don't you just go jump off a cliff and stuff? And I was just real fiery in it. So I was just like, I would literally respond back to her, like, how about you drive me to the cliff, you GPS? Like, and I was like, I was going in.
One-on-one.
Like,
Head to head.
in. And then I remember, so I got to an SLT position. I was still thinking, okay, cool. I got a bit of title. I'm all here. And I remember, you know, phone was an issue in this school. So I was like, can you come off your phone? She said, pause.
What in your face?
Yeah, pause. It's an important thing. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't think you heard me. Can you come off? Then she went to the head PA and said, like, who's this guy, bruv? Who does he think he's talking to? And I lost it, right? Because I was just like, I have never been disrespected like this. And it got to the point where I was generally just like, I was so confused. And I raised my voice, right? Because I'm not a ceramic mug. Like, you are going to hear me. Like, how can you be? And then she started crying and stuff, and just all those things, the tears, you know. And then it's so interesting because from that moment, I was actually pulled up on it, and I was just like, you know, there's a way that you have to. And literally, my first year of SLT, I've had to learn that you will get your own back on those kids. But a different way.
Yeah.
You know, the whole tick for toe, like that whole thing, you know, it's not gonna work. So I've been humbled.
Yes.
So I'm very, very calm now. Like, you know, I just said, please don't raise your voice at me. And then I will escape the situation and then I'll come back.
Yeah. I think I almost see it as a necessity to have battles with some kids sometimes, because some of the strongest relationships I have with some students are the ones that we've gone at it with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And then the restorative afterwards.
Yeah.
It kind of sets the line, but also lets them know that you actually have their, not only that, but also you have their best interests at heart, because you're ultimately going to win the battle because you have more power than them. But if you then, once you've won that quote-unquote battle, if you then come back and kind of mend it, they respect that and they appreciate that. So I always think, it's like you said at the start of the year, I'm gonna have battles with some kids, whoever's in the position where they want to try it. That's a good thing.
And some of them need, as you said, some of them need that to form.
Yeah.
They want. Some children want to form a bond with you.
Yeah.
But don't know how to do it, and I do find it is
Dysfunction.
The girls. Yeah, I do. And I can say this with full chest. Yeah, I can say this with full chest. Because again, a lot of the strongest relationships that I've formed have been with girls, like where they I don't know, they need to have that battle with you, almost to know, as you said, you've got their back.
Yeah.
And eventually, you're going to be the one who will ride out for them, and nobody else can violate them in that entire building. So even earlier when I was saying, me and Tariq were saying, "Oh, are we doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to church, got a christening." That's one of my former students.
Oh, nice.
Son. Okay. And I've had beef with all of them. Do you understand? I've had beef with all of them, but I don't know why that is. Like, but yeah, sometimes you got to come on the other end. But yeah.
With that being said, the biggest challenges I find, or the most conflict I get into, is with staff. Adults are the most difficult, I would say.
So then the question is, has anybody ever gone head to head, toe to toe with a member of staff? Today's SLT podcast is sponsored by none other than More Education, the UK's leading online black-owned supplementary service.
Guaranteed grades. Sorry.
Guaranteed grades. All your money back. I love that. Tell us about the guaranteed grades,
Guaranteed grades, 6s, 7s, 8s. Don't watch that. You getting it?
All right. See, I didn't say it. But make sure, if you want to find out where your child is, what's happening with your child, how we can support, we've got amazing facilities. Log on to moreeducation.co.uk. And at the moment, we are doing an offer for £47. You can have an assessment.
so we can tell you exactly what your child's doing in maths and English, where they are, what they need to improve on, and a consultation where you get to sit down with me and I discuss how to plot the next steps of your child's road to success. Log on moreeducation.co.uk. What do we say?
Guaranteed grades.
You say yeah. You?
Nah, I'm chill, man. I'm easy, bro.
You got MMA. No one don't want him.
Nah, no one's offered it out physically, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty chill guy. Like, I feel like,
True.
if I don't know,
I seek it out sometimes. I can't lie.
Yo,
I can see that.
Yeah.
You what?
I can see
He
that.
sees it, he goes and look. Do you want to say? Yeah, no.
Why?
I'm talking bust open the office like, yo.
Why is that?
Power plays.
Okay.
I think there's been times where you have to kind of
Stick it on
establish the power dynamics, and that involves you battering some people up. Quiet.
No, I'm actually genuinely intrigued because I feel like there's a couple of conversations waiting for me in it.
I never regret it. It's always difficult, but I'll tell you why I say I never regret it. I feel like there's very few times where my emotional instinct or my drivers are not the right drivers. So how I might go about things at the time, it might be problematic, but the intent is pure and secure. So I'll go off instinct. Like there's a play I'll have. Someone will do something that I don't like. In the moment, I'll process and think, okay, how am I gonna address this? I'll go home. It's always when I'm in the shower thinking about it, getting vexed, and I'll come out the shower, I send an email, and then how that email is received will determine whether or not I switch on man next time. Yeah. And if they try and they more often than not, they try and boy off the email because they don't want to have the conversation, then I'll blaze them. And you have to, like, because I feel like my thinking's quite radical. So I almost expect people to not be
to push back.
Yeah, or not be prepared to do the thing that I'm asking or take it to the place that I want them to take it. So it's almost like an expectation that they're gonna push back, like Zig said. So I then have to make it uncomfortable for people to then be like, oh, okay, shit, this is not going away. How can we get through this?
Were you always like this, or?
Yeah,
always been like this.
Always
been like
and
this.
it's interesting because I'm seemingly he's able to do it in a somewhat professional way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's able to do it, and as he said, like, I'll get vexed in the shower, and then I'll send an email. Yeah. You with me? Whereas I'll get vexed in the shower, and then I'll think,
what's your address?
Where are you?
Yo, see when I see you in the morning, and it's something I've always respected because he's been able to and as a black male, like the first thing people automatically give you like you're intimidating, you're aggressive, you're this, you're that. But Jordan's always been able to. I don't know how he gets away with it.
Scouser.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Liverpool accent.
It's difficult. Whereas even I'm thinking I don't openly ever remember being in a confrontational situation. I will usually back down because in my head, well, I can't thump in your mouth.
So
and it's almost
option?
I don't have any other options. Yeah. I'm limited in my option range. Like, all right, my God. Even listen, even up to the last day of term, the other day, I shouldn't even. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this. If I get in trouble, my head will pull me up. Yeah, so, do you know? I might ask her to. I might send this to her first.
Just in advance.
In advance. So,
full disclosure.
We had a member of staff who had resigned. You with me? Cool. They'd resigned. It was like a few weeks before the end of term, and then they'd say, I'm sick. Cool. The same old. Like, I'm sick. You with me? They were sick. Cool. So that means they're not going to be in for the last few days of term. Cool. So we've got to make sure that class is accommodated for. Yeah. So it's the day before the end of term, and we had a star football team. Yeah. So I was playing football.
No way.
Oh, okay.
You are mocking it.
Violating.
Yeah. So I've taken it as a personal violation. Yeah. And I'm thinking, nah, like, oh, you're SLT. What do I do?
Makes it harder.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt so uncomfortable. So I was like, oh, do I have a professional conversation? Do I stick it on him? Say, yo, what you doing? Yo, pick up the ball and say, yo, no one ain't playing football. My man's got to move. You with me? I felt so uncomfortable. I was carrying on playing football and that. I was doing well.
So who's that?
Yeah, doing well. And then, mind you, I've only been SLT like a couple months and that. And then I hear something, and I look over, and the head, yo, she never comes out, yeah?
She seen him.
She's standing beside the cage,
Like, hold on a minute.
watching us play football. I took off my bib and just walked off. I was like, nah. Because I couldn't, and I was like, this looks so bad. But my instinct was to go
Address him.
and no, but it's again, I need to learn that professional thing where I'm gonna have to say to him, listen, this is completely unprofessional. This game can't happen. You with me? You need to go home. But you're very good at having those conversations.
I'll tell you what I would say. It has been harder the higher up you get.
Okay.
Because the power dynamic is just completely off because you do have so much more power. Once you get to, like for me as vice principal, I can't just be sticking it on people willy-nilly because it's risky.
Tribunals and that.
Exactly. It's risky. It's
a serious
bullying,
thing.
abusive.
Yeah.
So I have toned it down a little bit because I'm much more conscious of the fact that there is such a gap in the power dynamic here that I have it could get me in serious trouble. It still angers me. Like there's a conversation I had recently, and how do I say this diplomatically? I blazed someone because they did something stupid, and I blazed them, and she was upset because I blazed her in front of people, but she.
Is this you saying it diplomatically? Let me think how I can put it. She blazed someone because she's dumb.
But she, so basically, she. This is how I've interpreted it. She was in her feelings because I embarrassed her. I accept the fact that I embarrassed her. My stance was you did something stupid, and I checked you on it. So she's now gone to her line manager, who's also a VP, and he's come to me and said she's upset for this reason. I said I know she's upset. I was angry. Left it there. Didn't chat to her, whatever, keep it moving. Then he's gone to the head and been like, oh, this is the situation. Then she's come to me and be like, oh, what happened to you? Anyway, long story short, I ended up having a restorative with her. And what she told them as to why she was upset with me was just absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
And I knew she was lying.
Don't mince your words. Yeah, go on.
She was lying. She was lying. She felt embarrassed, but she couldn't tell them she was embarrassed. She made some next. It was actually a lie. She made some next lie up, just to rationalize or justify why she felt aggrieved with me. And I had to just hold it. I had to just be like, do you know what? I'm just gonna take the high road here. I'm just going to concede with what you're saying, just to get it done with. I know now I'm vexed because I'm thinking, you fucking lied there. But I have to just.
You're gonna have to bleep that.
Yeah, take
You're gonna
that
have to bleep that out. I can tell you haven't quite got over that.
Nah, I'm vexed.
I just like
Get animated. He hasn't quite got over it. Yo, that man that's they ain't seen the side of you, though. They're like, look. Yo, that's why I had to pull him early and be like, bro, come back.
There's ways to
Have you, as being the youngest, have you had any uncomfortable situations like that, Tariq? Like with seeing him, so like flipping on his head with senior management, saying things that have made you uncomfortable, anybody doing things that have made you think, you know, I'm gonna walk out. Have you ever had it, or you just chilled so you ain't really?
I have had it, like, in my first year, for example, like, I wanted to run a project where, I don't want to say who, but, like, I had somebody who was kind of, had power within, like, the UK kind of urban scene, like, kind of managed artists and things like that. I wanted them to come in and, like, deliver a seminar at the school. The SLT member in charge at the time was very, like, I don't know, kind of condescending and, like, very, like, I don't know, just not wanting the situation to happen, and kind of made it his objective to not let it happen.
Oh. And
kind of when we had words about it, like, he kind of just said it to me straight, like, yeah, like, this is not kind of what, like, our vision is, and whatnot, which was quite disheartening. Like, I did kind of think about maybe wanting to leave and things like that. But I think over time, like, I've developed more confidence. Like, I've grown. I've developed like good relationships with head teacher, assistant heads, things like that. So then, like, when it's come time to like doing projects with maybe having like black people in the community and things like that, like a lot of things have been pushed forward now, which has been great.
So
that's really good.
That's a good tip for anybody. So it's about developing those relationships.
Develop the relationships, and also like just having confidence in your thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you know something's good, if you know like you're gonna do something and it's gonna benefit the kids, the reason why we're there, you just gotta stick to it. You just gotta push through, even if there's like idiots that wanna kind of slow things down. So
being in SLT, I think I rate members of staff who are competent. If you make my job easier, I'm so happy to support you.
Yeah.
You know, like doing what you do. But it's the ones when you are very much incompetent, and that leads me to just question, what are you doing?
You're nicking a living, mate.
Like,
you're nicking a living.
Cashing a check.
Do you understand? Like, I think once, you know, and again, not exposing too much, like, I was very embarrassed for this person, you know, not only because they were black, but they were black male. They had the audacity to do a review of something that the school gave them money for, and they just fumbled the bag, and they were so flippant with it, you know. And I was just like, it's actually people like yourself that makes it difficult and make other people, we have to work extremely hard to prove that we're not you.
Yeah.
Like, so again, be competent. Like, I think if you are competent, even as a ECT,
yeah, even as a TA, a competent TA is worth their weight in gold.
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
For me, it's yes, I agree with that, and caring. If I know that you don't genuinely care, that gets me.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't respect people like that. I've been battling recently with that balance, like how much, because I've always had the mentality of going above and beyond is you demonstrating that you care. But should it actually be like that? Like this whole industry is driven by people do more work than what they should, 100%. And should that be the barometer of whether or not you're fully bought in?
Do you know? I was in a teachers' meeting the other day, and I think this is the closest I came to. It wasn't. It was nowhere near your level of fire, your inferno. Yeah, but I said to the teachers in the meeting, I said, "Yo, if I didn't say yo, I said members of." Colleagues, I said, if you walked into your lesson, so no, I said, who has children? And everybody put their hand up. I said, okay, so if you walked into your lesson and your child is being taught in that lesson, do you think that would be sufficient? Would you be happy to walk in and see your child being taught in your lesson at the level and standard? And everyone put their heads down. I said, okay, the fact that you've put your head down, that means you know what you're doing isn't good enough. I said, to compound that, do you understand the situation that many of these children are coming from? Do you understand, generally education is important, but the ensuring that these children have the highest standard of education, is imperative. And I know the school you're at, I know schools you've worked in, I know the school you're at.
Why are you saying it like that?
No, but his school's got like a flipping 30-year legacy of deprivation.
Oh, so that.
Yeah, like it's in the heart. It's in the heart.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's in the heart.
You love that, though, innit? You love the ends.
That is my
So you're talking about generational stuff. So you're coming in to collect your little check. I take it as a violation. I'm like, yo, leave, innit? Leave. Seriously, leave. And there was a member of staff the other day where I did small things like, coming towards the end of term, like, don't play no films, innit?
Yeah.
Like, don't play no.
I taught right up until the final
Period
lesson.
5.
I taught. And it's like, I think when you're part of SLT as well, like, listen, I have to lead by example, innit?
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I had to apologize to some of the kids. Like, look, I know you're coming from a lesson where you watch films, but we're going to do this. I even asked them, let me know the staff's name.
Yeah,
like, just so I could
now.
follow up, you know? They were just like, no.
I walked around making sure no films were being. You know listen, see when he is in his 3-piece suit, yeah, and he's walking around a school, yeah. It's bad that. Similar thing, because and this I know it was deep, yeah. I started to say to the kids, so say we finished like the Friday, I started to say, listen, okay, if you guys really, it was a joke, if you guys really want to watch films, this is what we'll do. I'm gonna do a film club next week Monday, and we can come in next week Monday. Whoever wants to come
4 PM.
and watch. No, I said films.
Yeah.
And it was a joke to say, nobody's gonna want to come in on Monday to watch films. So I'm saying to the man them have Netflix and everything in their yard, they're gonna be watching. But then some of the kids started to say, sir, are you really doing film club? Like, no, it's a joke. Like, no one's coming in on Monday. They were like, no, we'll come in on Monday, you know.
Okay.
And then I started to say to the staff, do you understand the lives that these youths live?
Yeah.
Like, you lot don't get it. Even to some extent, I don't get it, because they know they're going to go home and not go on.
Yeah.
They actually love us and they want to come in. And you lot playing music in your class, playing films, is a disservice to these youths.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what gets me riled up. But enough about the adults. Let me ask one question, because really it's about the kids. The adults wind us up, yeah? Have there been any students for various regions, I know, are you flicking through the Rolodex of kids, yeah? That for I don't know, for their sheer entertainment have had you, like, you just get that connection with. I'm remembering, who used to call you Mr. Baldylocks? They used to call
That's rude.
I've had all kinds.
And I tried to, when you're trying to defend it, because he can't treat Mr. Crawford like that, but you're cracking up Baldylocks.
B-Tech LeBron James, I've had all of it. I had one girl be like, because, okay, full disclaimer, my hair doesn't grow here, innit? Like, it grows on the sides, but this thing, finished for a hot minute. Yeah. And I'll cut it every week. Yeah. But this one week, for whatever reason, I didn't cut my hair. So it was like little tufts here on the side. I remember one big girl being like, say you grow your hair out on the sides? It looks nice. But she wasn't even violating, man. She's like, probably you trying to be nice. I'm like, nah, this is a violation. But yeah, there's a few legends.
Anyone that sticks out to you, sir?
I'm still thinking about mine. It's been a lot. One kid said that my hair actually saved me.
What? Your hair saved you?
And there's a whole group chat.
GC?
Yeah.
What?
When I was ahead of year. Because I was fire as a head of year. Like, I was like, look, this is going to be the best year group. I just saw that I had a duty to prepare them, and so there's some, they loved me, but at the same time, there's a handful that, I'm so glad you're gone. I ruled with an iron fist. Like, and they were just like, flipping about it. And at the start, there was, some of them found my social media, especially when I used to have waves and stuff, and then one kid, what's so mad as well that actually really annoys me? Yeah? Like, listen, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, innit? Right?
Yeah.
But it's when a dead kid, yeah?
Yeah, so...
How are you chatting?
Nobody. Little run. You haven't had your glow up yet. You got to wait another 15 years. Everyone disses you and you want to diss me. No, sorry, that's inappropriate.
No, I'll leave it there. I just
like, how are you chatting?
I just can't. It's just not making sense. Like, what you're trying to do to me, like, it's not fair. because there's things I want to say, but I just can't. You know?
That's what I say. I say, listen, you know. I get this. I say, remember, my clip's always fully loaded. You know? But if I talk, remember, you're gonna this. When I leave, everyone else is gonna be saying it as well. So you can either apologise and we allow it, or I'm gonna open up on you, and your reputation in this school is done.
Finished.
It's done. Yeah. And sometimes you have to make them. I tell you, I was in a Pru, yeah, in North London, very close to the location of our studio, yeah. I'll never forget this, yeah. And this student was fairly sporadic. He didn't attend brilliantly well, but like he was gang. He was gang. So I'd come in, batted up. He'd come in once or twice. We never really interacted. So I think I was batting up the year 11s, rare. And then like he tried to leave the class, and I did the whole all that stuff, yeah. And he took it all when he said, "Listen to me. Your muscles can't save you, bruv. That can get pierced." Stone Cold looked in my face, yeah? He said...
Man went...
He looked in my face, cold. He said, your muscles can't save you, That can get pierced.
Mad thing.
Stone Cold.
That's heavy.
That was like something from The Wire or something. I looked at him like... If I look upon him, I'm going to say, hey, that same you, I'll never forget, that same you. Maybe about 3 months later, there was an issue where I think his older brother got robbed by somebody else, and somebody else put it on Snapchat and rare, and then they had to get the things back. But one of the students was a friend of somebody who did it. So as soon as he walked in, he was like, listen, it had nothing to do with me, like I was backing it, And he said, no, it's cool. Sitting in a class.
It wasn't cool.
10 minutes later, my man got up and went to bang him, yeah? And I had to get in between him, and I had to beg him. I said, no, it's me. Come allow it. He said, yeah, all right, cool, I'm going outside. Went outside. This was the biggest mistake. Went outside, come back in, sat in the class, but his leg was like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the thing on it.
Sat there, waited. I see him dip for it, Pull out it got to about here, I saw the blade. I've never held on.
Yeah.
I've never held on. Forget roller coasters or anything like. I've never held on for something in my life, and I'm holding him, yeah, and I'm screaming for another member of staff. He's like your size, bigger, cool. Funny. He's like, and we've had to hold him and drag him out. And my man looked in his face afterwards. He went and obviously, so he's gone outside to get his knife to come back in. You with me? But we've not searched him on the way back in. Okay. And he's had to be expelled from that. And I saw him and he said, yo, you saved that youth's life. He said that cold. He's one of the coldest youths I've ever witnessed. And I have no doubt that not only would he have killed the youth in the classroom, when he said to me, your muscles can't save you. I genuinely, me and him were cool after that, yeah, because he knew the levels. I genuinely believe he would have had no problem. And that's often the dangers of being in certain classrooms and being that guy. But I thought it was a funny story, but you guys look quite shocked. I thought it was hilarious. You know what I mean?
Just thinking like what we go through and what we do for the communities that we serve, and should we have to?
I feel like there's a language that it comes easier for some in comparison to those that may be from, let's say, different parts of the UK, and then because of certain programs, they get placed with certain schools with, high social deprivation, and they struggle.
I appreciate that.
How he worded it?
Discreet. Yeah, this correction was
I thought you were the English teacher.
And one of the things that they actually struggle to engage in the dialect and just the way of life of some of these kids. And when I remember one person said to me that he got tired of being almost like the daddy of the school.
Yes.
Where, okay, you can't control this kid. Okay, go get this person, go get that and stuff. And there's more to
that
him.
is very frustrating. Like, I'll tell you when that happens to me, when I'll see a madness in the corridor and I can see the kids. Like, whenever this kid stood outside a classroom, that's a joke thing.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, I'm like, why, this lesson time? Why
Yeah.
are you not in lessons?
No excuse.
But when you see kids see you, and then they're all like, oh, Mr. Crawford, then they go back and everyone's... And I'm, in some ways, I appreciate it because it shows the soft power that you have. But in other ways, I'm like, it can't always be me. I can't be the one that you all behave for. I have to trust that whatever classroom you're in with whatever member of staff, learning's going to take place, and you have the ability to engage the kids and manage the kids as such, where they just see me and they behave. It's frustrating.
It's a question about empowering your staff as well, especially as a senior leader now. So same thing reaches me, and I'm like, well, if you didn't show the films and make them listen to flipping drill music in the middle of the class, they don't run that stuff with me. You with me? So, but anyway, guys, we've kind of come to the end of it goes quick.
It's gone by quick.
Yeah, it goes. Listen, we'd love to have you guys on again in the near future. I know. I wanna shout out
Tariq.
Come on.
Tariq. You with me? Tariq's so to get a bit of background about Tariq. Tariq, I met you at the Black Men Teach seminar in Birmingham. That's I know him through you.
Okay.
And
take the stage. Yeah.
This is how important it is. I know this young man.
Yeah, man.
And he reached out to me about tuition, like wanted to start his own tutoring.
Oh yeah,
business.
I remember that.
Yeah, man, that was the link. And I said, all right, you know what? Boom, let's do this. He started his own tuition thing, and he's a young man. I've never met a young man like this. Yeah, he's been in contact with me, like, yo, everything good. Can you advise me on this? Bro, let's go out for something to eat and chop it up and this, that, and the other. And even we recently got a role in, where is it? Which country?
Kuwait.
Yes.
Mashallah.
Yeah. And before he was just like, right, any tips? Kept me updated. And as a young man, I've never met nobody who's been that on it and direct. I've recommended people to his business, helping build his thing, this, that, and the other. So I want to shout out both of you because it's through you I met my man and have been able to kind of keep the link and seen him go on to do what's the role in Q8 that you're going to be?
Yeah, man. So I'm going to be teaching PE out there. I'm going to be teaching sports.
Yeah.
So doing fixtures, loads of after school clubs, things like that, man. So
don't play it down. They're going to be flying you out to go this fixture in this place. Come on, man.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be good. It's an adventure for sure. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I appreciate all your support as well, man.
Yeah, man.
Mentorship and time you've taken.
Yeah. Can I just say, especially with mentoring, like I'm always saying this as well, because I have mentors that I do the exact same thing. You know, like I would say the mentor is almost like the socket and you are the plug. Like you need to go to them and stuff because I'm sure they've done the exact same thing. And that's one thing I've learned, like just keeping the connection and being intentional about the fact that, you know, I value you. And I think if Black Men Teach created that space, that's good.
That's what you do.
Yeah, man. So you've seen like the power, the power in works. So I want to let you know the power of your thing. You with me? So yes, all right. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming down. This is the SLT podcast. I'm gonna say it again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. I want to big up Miss Crawford.
Mumsy riding out in the comments.
In the comments. Yeah, big up Auntie in the comments. Do you know what I mean? I know if any mistakes, any typos with me, I'm going to make sure I bleep out some of his swear words, Auntie, to make sure you understand, because we know we're being watched. But
she knows my thing.
We also want to be shared because it's an important message as well, and it's a powerful room as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As we say, 4 black male teachers on a positive thing, so want to make sure it's shared. So like, share, comment, SLT podcast. It's a wrap for this episode.